What's up, fam? Hope everybody is doing fantastic out there. Today we are taking a look at a pretty cool budget banger from the folks at SRM, or Stay Ready for More. Now, these guys have been quite impressive here lately. Let me get some of the schmutz off the table here. But they've been quite impressive here lately with what they've been doing. They've running some kind of sand blades. They've got a very interesting blade steel. They have kind of done their on-take on a crossbar lock using a mono chassis on their crossbar locks, which again I think is really interesting and very cool. And then, like I said, just been doing a really great job with some budget knives and some kind of in-between knives. So some of those knives that are more premium, but still not going to really break the bank. This one is the 258L, or the Terrier as they call it. This one specifically is the 258L GN. Which is the purple G10 with the PVD coated blade. And now this is a D2 version, so they do offer two different versions of blades. They have the D2, which is these run around $50 for the D2 blade, which is ran at 59 to 61 HRC, and then they have a 140 CR blade on a bunch of different options, and that one's only 65 bucks, which is an absolute steal. So if you're going to buy one of these, unless you just absolutely have to have the purple, personally, I would go with the 140 CR versions. I've had this knife with the 140 CR blade steel, and it is a absolutely phenomenal steel. Very similar characteristics to S35VN, very similar performance to S35VN, and the fact that you can get it for 65 bucks is really insane. Now, they do offer these in a more premium version with the 140 CR steel that's titanium. That's the one that I had. Again, absolutely phenomenal knife. Ended up sending that along to a friend of mine, and he has been loving that knife, and so it's really cool to see it continue on and everything. So let's go ahead and talk specs here. So we're looking at a 3.54 inch blade that is a 3 mil thickness of 3.1 mil thickness, 7.99 inches overall, and just 3.56 ounces. So it is pretty much a 1-to-1 weight ratio there. Again, they call their crossbar lock the ambi lock, which is, it's pretty nice because it is an ambidextrous lock. And again, they use a full monolithic chassis. So the chassis itself is basically makes this a integral design, just because it is a folded steel piece here, and then the G10 scales are slabbed on over top. It does have a quick change pocket clip, so no screws on the pocket clip. That works really well on the G10 and micarta versions of the knife. Now, if you have one that is a titanium version, it will scratch your titanium. Just be aware of that. And you can actually see here, we'll show it in the close-ups, but it does have a tendency to scratch whatever material it is. So the pocket clip doesn't move very easily, but it does move. So you can see that there. And when you're functioning the knife and moving it around, fidgeting with it and whatever, you are going to put a mark on whatever the handle material is. I don't know, micarta might not mark up, but you definitely notice it in the titanium version. So just be aware of that if this is something that you're looking at, especially in the premium version. Let's go ahead and jump in to our close-ups here. And see, we have the SRM logo there on the PVD coated hardware. Really nice crossbar lock. You can see how far the range of movement is on that crossbar. It does move a pretty decent amount, so it does have a decent enough detent. It's not the best I've ever handled, but it is pretty good. Standard G10 here, it is slightly contoured, and then you do have some chamfering here along the edges. Really nicely done. We have a standard T6 T8 hardware. We do have a lanyard post there, so you do get some lanyard love. There you have the Stay Ready for More, and there you can see that again, that monolithic frame there, or monolithic interior. Pocket clip. So the way this pocket clip works, if you just pinch it here, you can see that pinches together, and then you can change it out. So we'll do it here. You can go ahead and just pinch it down. It's going to be hard for me to do it with y'all seeing it, but you pinch it together, you can push out on the pocket clip. There we go. It was stuck. So then you just pull that out, and then you can very easily switch it. But with that out, you can see the mark that it makes here on the G10 when you're moving it in and out. So but you can easily switch that over. And if you have if it's something where you're changing constantly and you're switching it back and forth all the time, then you may want to like slide a business card up underneath it or something of that nature, just to just to make it to where it doesn't scratch anything up. But it is a very secure pocket clip, so it works very well. It's just it will mar up your handle material. Just be aware. Thumb stud access is pretty good. Thumb studs are really nice. No issues with that at all. Captive pivots, no issues there. The crossbar lock sticks out just far enough for you to really get a decent purchase on it. Nice and grippy. Again, pocket clip works really well. It's a nice springy pocket clip. No issues there. Centering is spot on. I don't think we're going to be able to really see that tip. We'll have to look at that tip in a second. Take a look. Standard drop point blade here with a bit of a swedge. Standard PVD coating. SRM logo on that side. And then we have all of the other branding here. You've got whatever that big P number is, and then the model number, D2. Plunge grind is pretty good. We've got a decent amount of room there for sharpening. Sharpening is fantastic. SRM really is... They're really slept on, honestly. I mean, if you look at the edge on this knife, it is a damn near a mirror polished edge from the factory. Looks a lot like what I see from Kubi and KB when they sharpen a knife. It's a very nice high polished edge right from the factory, and it is razor sharp, very symmetrical. Take a look at that tip. The tip is actually, let's see if I can get it in the middle here. Tip is good. I don't see any issues with that tip straightness there. Looks like the grind is nicely done. Yeah, a really well done blade. We can take a look at our detent location here, or the crossbar detent, whatever you want to call it. So it looks like we have a decent, it's kind of hard to tell in the video here, trying to find a good spot to where y'all can see it. But in person I can see we have a decent bit of rise there on that blade ramp, or that detent ramp. I don't know what you'd want to call it on these crossbar locks, but the retention ramp, there we go. Yeah, it looks pretty decent, and like I said, you can see when you open the knife here, you can see the movement. It has a good bit of movement on that crossbar, so you're compressing that spring a pretty good bit for it to get that blade out, which does give you a bit of a good detent feel. Again, it's not the best that I've handled, but it is a really good crossbar lock, all things considered. It's certainly better than most, I would say. I wouldn't put it quite to the level of the Kershaw Duralock, but it is certainly better than the Axis lock. So keep that in mind. Just know that it's kind of right there in the middle. I'd put it pretty even with Kaiser's lock. You know, maybe just slightly above Kaiser's lock. So in the hand, this is a knife it's been around for a while, so a lot of folks have handled it. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's a standard knife handle. Honestly, it's good size. It's got really nice contoured edges. Really good feel in the hand. Pocket clip doesn't really cause any issues. No real hot spots or anything. It's nice that it is kind of an integral feel here, so you don't have any openings on the back of the knife to cause any issues. The jimping is... It's going to be hard for me to tell right now because where it wants you to place your thumb is right here. You don't want to use the tip of your thumb, but the jimping is there. It seems aggressive enough, but again, it's hard for me to tell with the Band-Aid on my thumb here. But it is smoother jimping, but it's not the worst I've ever felt. So it may be good enough for you. I just you're just going to have to make that determination on your own. But again, just a really well done budget banger. I don't have any real issues with this knife, honestly. Let's see here. T6 and T8 hardware. Everything is good there. Go ahead and jump into our close-ups here. Or excuse me, our size comparisons. And then we'll the last thing we'll do is we'll take this knife. I'll take the scales off of it, and we'll see. You can see that frame there, and see how that whole thing works. So we have the Penguin and the Pyrite. Drop bear. Milital. We have the BE.EDC, which I think is probably the best crossbar lock that I've ever experienced. Super lightweight and just a really good detent. And we'll talk about, I'll show you a little bit. I'll pull up the, here after we're done with the size comparisons, I'll pull up the drop bear and the BE.EDC as well, bring them back and show you what I'm meaning by how far the crossbar moves. When you're opening the blade, you can really see a difference there. And lastly here, we have got the MSI. So you can see there, it is very similar size to the PM2. So that 8-inch blade is or the 8-inch overall is a really, really popular size here as of late. I'm seeing a lot of knives that are coming in right there at 8 inches. But yeah, it's very interesting to see that happen. So let's go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about here with the crossbar locks. So if you look at the range of movement with the Kaiser here, so you can see it does move a pretty good amount. Very, very similar to what we get here with the SRM. See how the SRM has a little bit larger range of movement than what we get with the Kaiser. And then you bring in the Kershaw, and it moves almost the entire length of its opening there before it releases the blade, which is how that sucks that in really nicely. Gives you a nice detent feel without having to have a heavier spring. And like this drop bear is on its heaviest setting, and it is very much a lighter weight. I mean, it's still very lightweight, but you can see it doesn't quite move as far as the SRM, and the SRM doesn't move quite as far as the Kaiser. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to very quickly try to pull the scales off of this thing. Typically, I do not do this on pass-around knives, but I have handled my fair share of the SRM knives, and I'm using my best bits, bits that I guarantee will not round off a screw. So I'm using those to take this apart. That way it is, I'm 100% in the knowledge that everything's going to be fine. So again, these are a very interesting blade. And somebody's already actually taken this apart before. So I'm actually glad that I did this, because whoever took this knife apart did not put the O-ring back where it's supposed to go. But you can see here, it's just one solid piece of steel, and then you have your crossbar in there. Now you can take the other side off very easily, and then you don't have to worry about it. Everything stays together. It is a very, very good system, a very cool system. But this... there's a little channel built in here for the G10, but this little ring actually is supposed to go in here and not on the inside there. Let's go ahead and just screw back in. Good. Let's go put this screw back in really quickly. Wait, we can check. I believe that is perfect. Let's go ahead and put our pocket clip back on. Make sure I put it back on the right side. Again, that just slides in and clicks into place. Really cool knife. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Please remember to be kind, be humble, and be EDC. Y'all take care.